bringing up this, we're not scripted. I had an expert I sent you, I was going to be on my show the other day, who does a lot of these TED Talks. He helped, helped people who have had major TED Talks be super successful, get millions of views. And I was talking to him about that because TED Talks are more scripted because they have a certain amount of time. And
Only 18 minutes.
well, no, it's a lot less now. And they have
Oh.
7 and 9 minute ones, and they have it much less. They're getting less and less. They don't do those longer ones anymore.
I've seen
But you know who, well, you know where the longer ones go to, or like, presidents and people like that, who everybody wants to hear them, and nobody's going to play the Oscar music to get them off stage. Like they would for me, probably. But they want you to.
But that's very interesting, Diane, because if they have been shortened, it's because television segments are so short.
Well, everything's getting shorter. Attention span, as you wrote about in your book. Yeah.
And attention span is like bing, bing. The length of time for a windshield wiper to go on one side to the other side.
That is fine. I'm finding interesting lately, as everybody's doing stuff on TikTok, and the kinds of things that they're putting on to some of these sites. First they're doing dances and the things that you kind of expect on a site like that,
right?
And then I'm seeing people give financial advice in short bites.
I've done some talking on TikTok, and it went over very well.
And then there's one I just heard talking about how she was kidnapped by her husband and left and something. And I'm like, wow. Things that you can get on these small bites. And I would never go for financial advice in small bites on a
TikTok.
But if it was something real simple, maybe, you know what I mean? But it's getting to be, how much shorter are these bites going to get? Now I'm happy with it, with a TED kind of talk, because if you're under a high pressure situation like that and you have just a simple message, I think that's plenty of time for something like that. But I think it's interesting to see all the different aspects of what's getting longer, what's getting shorter. You're getting longer on Clubhouse, longer things, shorter on TikTok, shorter on TED. It's just it varies so much.
So what you're suggesting, when we extrapolate all the information, is that the Clubhouse, being more like a radio programming,
interactive, yeah,
without the visual,
mm-hmm.
Is getting longer as the visual things are getting short. The visual combination of
yeah. In that particular case, they are. I think, I think YouTube has always been small bites. It's never been, for a lot of it.
Right.
So I think maybe you can't handle too much of the video for too long kind of things, unless it's an educational type, teach you how to do something kind of thing, then you can go longer. Right. But it's fascinating. I have to be honest, I haven't spent that much time on Clubhouse, other than speaking for them and doing some things here and there. But I think that I just feel so overwhelmed by too many places to be. Like, okay, so I have to put this kind of a picture here, and I got to put that kind of a sound there. And I just keep kind of thinking, well, it's got to become easier to not have to. When I do my show, just the time it takes to find out the guest hashtags and the guest @ signs and the guest this and the guest that, to come up with what I can fit on Twitter, is the most obnoxious, because you have just a little bit of space, right? So you have to deal with all of that. But then you can't put the same thing that you'd put on Twitter on LinkedIn, because it's all abbreviated and hashtagged. And I mean, you can some of it, but you kind of have to develop it out for.
Yeah.
And then you got to go to Instagram, which you can't do on your computer. You have to go to your phone.
I know.
And I can't see my phone unless it was this big. So I'm like going, I hate this because I can't see it. But so I'll post it, but then I got to get it on my computer and look at it so I could actually read it. And then I got to go back and fix it on my phone. And so, okay, so then you got that. And then you have, you've got just all these different social media,
But
you
you
know,
see,
realms.
everybody, what you may or may not know about Dr. Diane is that she is a brilliant techie. For those of us who are more like me, who are not such brilliant techies, but imbued with so much content that we want to get out,
Mhm.
it's very frustrating. And it has taken me so long to go from platform to platform to platform. And in the past, I had some people doing this for me. But ultimately, nobody can do your content the way you can do your
No,
content.
no.
You might have people managing it, but ultimately, you have got to do this
It's
yourself.
tough. I tried, using like the Hootsuites and the Meet
Oh,
Edgar
yeah.
and Metigy, and some of those are fine for Twitter to repost certain things. But as far as what you write and what you can't actually put together, I think I have to do it myself. Nobody's going to know what I want.
That's true.
But
And how about when you hit a Twitter and
mhm,
you have to extract words from it because it's not going to fit. Your message is not going to fit the way you had intended it to be.
yeah.
And now you're changing around words. Somebody else can't do that for you.
No, no, it's very challenging because Twitter's meant for total interaction. I mean, like Tom Peters, who wrote In Search of Excellence, is on my show, and he's constantly on Twitter, and I see him constantly interacting and engaging, and that's his place. I mean, he loves it there. And for me, I'm much more on LinkedIn, but other people might want to be more on Instagram. For me, visually, unless I keep taking pictures of myself doing my radio show, I'm sitting here at my desk the whole day. You know what I mean? It's not how many pictures of this do you need? You know what I mean? Not a lot. So I'm not out and about in it because of the COVID situation doing my speaking where I can take pictures of me in the airport or pictures of me doing that. And I'm sick of looking at me anyway. So I don't like to do as much on the picture ones as I like to share things on more of the business ones. And so you got to find the ones where your audience is who you're speaking to, the people who are more likely to do what you're asking them to do. I mean, if you're trying to consult, then you want to be around business professionals. If you're trying to speak about your interior design company, you want to be on Instagram, you want to have a visual aspect.
Well, you
But I
can
think you need to be
Pinterest.
on all of them, it's the problem.
You don't even talk about Pinterest.
Huh?
You
Oh,
don't even talk.
Pinterest. I have a Pinterest page. I never use it.
I don't either. I have an account also. I don't use
I
it.
don't use it for me. I look at things on Pinterest, but I go to other people's Pinterest page, but I don't post stuff because that's more of a collection. I think I see it as, if you want to find all the best purple dresses, or if you want to plan a
Yeah.
wedding, or if you want to, do just whatever it is. But for a radio show consultancy kind of thing, like what I'm doing, nobody's going to look for me on Pinterest. So you have to find where your customers are. And you might have some, I don't know. Have you seen any of speakers and stuff doing Pinterest? I haven't really even looked there.
I haven't, and I haven't been on there for a very long time because.
Oh, it's great for visual things. I mean, collections.
Yeah, well, if I wanted to look at pictorials all day long, I mean, that's the place to see ideas and whatnot, but that's not my area.
Right. So you have to find where your customers are, is really the whole thing.
I'm mostly on LinkedIn and Facebook business page,
Mhm.
and
Me too.
and your personal things on Twitter. So I post on Twitter occasionally. I have interaction, but not that much. But my
LinkedIn is probably where I've gotten the most business, the most, relationships. Every once in a while, I'll pick up somebody big on Twitter who wants to speak about certain things, but it's generally LinkedIn. And I used to pay for the extra special LinkedIn version when I was first new at building my clients and business, and it was worth it at the beginning. But after a while, I don't need access to a lot of the stuff, so I don't do that anymore.